Hey guys, Tara here, and it has been 2 weeks since we have been able to chat and catch up because I was away last weekend. So we are going to do a little catch up from the last 2 weeks, and then I will talk about some of the stuff I have been reading. And I got just a couple of books, very small amount. I'm trying to limit my buying. So let's get into the last 2 weeks. Last time I talked to you guys, I had just been to my cousin's wedding the night before, and the day that I taped, that evening, we had a bowling party that was like an after the wedding celebration to get together and just spend time with family and friends and things like that, and bowl, which it was the first time that I had bowled. I want to say it's been probably close to a decade since I have bowled. I was afraid that my ball was going to be too heavy for me, and it wasn't. I actually did pretty well. I could not tell you what my, sorry guys, my hair is like killing me today. I could not tell you what my score was because it was also both of my nieces' first time bowling, and I went on the lane with them. And so as they wanted to go, they just, I helped them bowl and things like that. So I bowled like in between there kind of sporadically, but I did not do bad. And as I'm talking, guys, I'm going to put pictures up here just so you can see some of the things that I've been doing lately. So that was a lot of fun. My nieces had a blast. It was their first time at the bowling alley, which is like shocking to me. There's so many things that because of COVID that they have never gotten to do because they were so young. Like Livy was a COVID baby. She was born in January and COVID started March 15th of that year. And Ava was only a year and a half, about a year and a half whenever COVID started. So there's a lot that they've not been able to do that was just so normal to like my brother and I and us with Cassidy when she was younger. And so it's been interesting seeing some of their firsts lately. So that was Saturday, and it was just a really, really nice time. It was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. And then my cousin Nicole, her mom is my aunt that passed. She had to fly back to Florida on Sunday, so that was my last time seeing her too before she had to leave. So yeah, it was a good night though. It was a good end to a really tough week. Then Sunday, we went to the Melting Pot, and that is our favorite restaurant. Every year before Cassidy starts back to school, we do a Melting Pot day. Usually go out and have some kind of like fun day too. Didn't get to do really the fun day this year, just because she wasn't feeling real well the day that we were going out to do that. But so we did go to the Melting Pot and got to do that, and that was a wonderful time. We had our favorite waiter, who is Jason, and he is just hands down one of the best waiters ever. And we were blessed with a gift card to the Melting Pot by Nicole. Her and her fiance had given my Aunt Mary a gift card for Christmas to the Melting Pot, and they felt weird using it, so they had given it to us, and so that was wonderful because we really like to tip well anyway. But with something like that, we were able to, what we did was we took the cost of the gift card. It was a $100 gift card. And so we ended up tipping the amount of the gift card. So it was like we would have paid what we would have anyway, but we were able to bless our waiter with a wonderful tip, and he totally deserves it. He's just so good. So that was fabulous. And then Monday was back to work, and it was also Cassidy's like first day of school, even though technically she had to like wait until her first day of live classes, which were Tuesday, to get started because she is in PA Cyber, which is a 100% cyber program offered through Pennsylvania. It's an amazing program. We absolutely love it. So Monday night, we just kind of like sat down and went through all her classes. I read the different things the teachers had sent out about, like with introductions about them. And we did a couple about me activities that they wanted and things like that on Monday. And then tried to like finish up and get ready for the licensing audit at work. which I'll talk about in a second. But I also finished this puzzle up here. This was a 750 piece puzzle. I want to say it was Buffalo. I think it was Buffalo brand, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But that was another fun one that was really quick and easy to do. Those 750 pieces are really so much faster than any of the other puzzles. And then I also started this puzzle, which I loved, and finished it also this week here past. But here's a picture of it finished early. You can see it now. And I had so much fun doing this one. This one was a 1,000 piece, and it was by White Mountain, which is another one of my favorite brands. And this one took longer to do. It's amazing how much difference time-wise there's between just a 750 and a 1,000 piece puzzle. But I liked this one a lot with all of the books. It was a really good time. I love puzzles, but there are just certain puzzles that make me happier than others, and this one was great. So, 2 puzzles since I talked to you guys last. Then, like I said, we did finish our licensing visit, and we passed with flying colors this year. We did not have one deficiency. I didn't have to write. I have no corrective action plan I have to do, and even got some praise for a couple of things that we have put into place over this past year, and thrilled that that went as well as it did. And then as soon as the licensing was over, which it was so funny because she got there, our licensing person, she came, she's like, I actually shouldn't be here. She said she had gone on to check what our COVID levels were, and she had seen, I think she had seen that it was 6%. Then she checked again when she got there, and she realized she was looking at the county above ours. The county above ours was 6%. Our COVID levels in the county I live in are 26%. So she was like, I am not supposed to be here if the percentage is over 10%. She said, but I don't want to. She has to drive pretty far. She said, I don't want to leave at this point. She said, so I'm just going to kind of like get in, get done, and go. So I want to say we were done. She was done and she was gone and everything by 1 o'clock, which was fabulous. So I was able to leave, went and grabbed lunch with one of my coworkers, like a post licensing visit lunch, really nice lunch, and then went and grabbed Cass, and we headed up to camp. On our way to camp, we stopped. One of my coworkers got COVID, and Cassidy loves this coworker, so she made her some kind of like cinnamon and sugar bread, and then wanted to stop and pick her up pumpkin spice latte also. So we took and dropped that off at her house on our way, and then headed to camp. And we got there the night before, my mom, Luke, and Ava, because it was Ava's first time coming up. So it was me, Cass, and Dad there that night. And, you know, my dad's just like the best cook ever. And he made this amazing chili, and we had a fire that night, and it was just such a nice, wonderful, relaxing evening, and it was exactly what I needed after the previous crazy 2 weeks that I had. And my favorite place in the world to read is camp. My favorite place to be is camp. So even if it's like crappy outside, reading inside at camp is better than reading anywhere else. Even this wonderful room. I love this room. This is my second favorite place to read, but reading at camp, love it. Love being at camp. So, got there got there Thursday evening. Then Friday, Cassidy and I, we always go and spend the day in Du Bois. We go to the Du Bois Mall. We go eat at Ruby Tuesdays, and we had a really nice day up there. There's this bakery up there. It's called Uzi's, and Uzi is like amazing. I discovered him, let me think. Let's see here. The year I graduated from college was 2003, when I graduated with my bachelor's. Let me think through this for a second. 2003, I graduated with my bachelor's, and I think it was right around that point, because that's when I was with my first husband at that point, and my mother-in-law knew about this bakery and introduced me to this bakery, and oh, I can't even tell you. The most amazing cakes. He is from Israel and cooks with, he bakes with like, not healthy. This is not healthy at all. but just beyond anything I can actually describe to you. So he's my favorite. And since I've known him, his bakery has changed places. Same general area, but it changed storefronts 3 times. So he is now in the Du Bois Mall, which is wonderful, yet dangerous. So we went there, and, you know, Cassidy's gluten-free. So the only thing she can get is the cheesecake and just, like, scrape the bottom off. So she got the cheesecake, and then we got something for my dad, grabbed something for my mom, and then I had gotten a cupcake for Ava and a cupcake for me, because I figured if I just eat, like, half of the cupcake, I'll be fine with my sugar, and I was. And oh, guys. First of all, his stuff is amazing. I mean, like, it just looks amazing, but the taste is just, oh. And like, my favorite thing is cake and icing, and oh, it was just so good. So we got Uzis. Ruby Tuesdays was nice, and then we went to Old Navy and went on a complete shopping spree. I got a ton of new clothes. Cass got new clothes, got clothes for Livy. Didn't get anything for Ava because my sister-in-law had recently just gone shopping for her at Old Navy, and she had already gotten everything from there she liked. But they had different things at the mall we were at than the place where my sister-in-law had gone to get the clothes, and she hadn't been able to find much for Livy at that one. So we were able to find some nice things, including 2 really fun aunt shirts. I found one that said, I'm the apple of Auntie's eye, and I found another one that's a big giraffe and a baby giraffe, and the baby giraffe's looking up at the big giraffe and says, I look up to Auntie, which I love, and I'm really tall, so, you know, giraffes, love giraffes. I just relate to them and their tallness. So, went back to camp, relaxed the rest of the day. My mom and Lucas and Ava got there. So Ava's first time at camp. I have wanted to have her at camp for so long now. And so she finally got to come. And we weren't sure how she would do because she has a history of getting motion sick in the car. She did great the whole way there. We had a really nice evening. She slept fine. And she is a mama's girl. And so being away from her mom is really hard for her. So even though she did so well, my brother was really afraid that the next night, by the time it got to the evening, she would be really missing mom and might have a harder time. So he decided they were going to leave Saturday. But before that, we had time. We got to go out. My parents had bought a side-by-side, and it's the first time we got to take it up to camp. So Luke took me, Ava, and Cassidy on the side-by-side in the hollow. And it was lots of fun. It was so fun. And then we stopped at the creek down there. And guys, it was the first time my niece had ever seen a creek. Like, she didn't even really know what she was looking at. She had never seen one before. And she was just totally enthralled with it. Found this, like, area with a puddle. She's like, can I go play in that puddle again? Like, just, it was so cool. It's so fun seeing things from a child's perspective when they see something for the first time. And it was just, oh man, it did such good for my heart. So got back, and not long after we got back, after riding the side-by-side, they went ahead and left. And the rest of the weekend just spent reading and spending time with my parents, and it was just absolutely lovely. Oh, and Brian came up. Brian got there Saturday after work. No, Brian was supposed to come Saturday after work. He ended up coming Sunday because he's been working crazy hours because they had a bunch of people quit. So he's been working 6 days a week, with like overtime almost every day, 2 late evenings. It's just been a lot. So he was really tired by the time he was done working Saturday. So instead of coming up Saturday night, he ended up coming up Sunday. He left our house at 5 a.m., got there by like 8 o'clock. So it was nice having him up there too. He and Cassidy went out on the side-by-side. He had her out driving in the field, and she just had an absolute blast. So it's always nice when Brian gets to come to camp because he doesn't always get to come since he has to work on weekends. So, so we were there, came home on Monday, and, you know, that was Labor Day, but, you know, because I work full time, how Cassidy's cyber school works is she has 1 day of live classes, but then everything else, the rest of the day, it's like self-paced. So when we get home in the evenings, and then holidays and weekends, we work and we do her school stuff so that she can do the cyber school. But that is the best for her. So, you know, we do what we do, we do what we can, so it's the best for our kids. So yeah, I worked the rest of the week, did some reading, Did some crafting, but my crafting video will be on Wednesday this week. And then Friday, Cassidy got her second COVID shot, so she is fully vaccinated. And today, she's not feeling too hot, running a very slight temperature and just, you know, feeling like blah. So yeah, that's what I did. And last night I got to talk to Nicole on the phone for like 2.5 hours last night. And she is going to be coming back up here September 22nd to finish packing up my aunt's house, and talked about her plans for Christmas and all that stuff too. So it was one, you know, really nice conversation. I have to tell you, she sent me the most beautiful, I think the most beautiful thank you card I'd ever received in my life. I got in the mail from her this week also. So that's been my last 2 weeks. It was a lot. I'm sorry, there was so much there. So let's talk about reading, because 2 weeks, I've finished quite a bit in 2 weeks. So let's get to that. All right, so the first book I have finished this month so far is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. And this was fun. I think I would have preferred it as an audiobook. So book 2, I do definitely want to read the second book, but I want to try and get that on audio because I do think I'll enjoy it more, which I don't often say, but in this case, I do feel that way. This was so much like a true crime podcast. That's really what it reminded me of. Definitely some multimedia elements here. My favorite parts were the actual interviews and the entries she had in here for the project that she was working on. And it was fun. Is it believable that this teenager solved this crime? No, it's not. And that is why it got 3 stars and not higher. But it was enjoyable. Like I said, I do want to read the next one. So ultimately, this is a story about a young woman who, for her senior project, has decided to take on this murder that happened in their town as a murder-suicide. And she does not think that the boy that was accused of killing the girl, the boy who committed suicide, she doesn't believe that he did it. She thinks that he was falsely accused and, you know, put on trial for something that he ultimately could not even defend himself against. And she wants to find the person that really did it. So that's what this is about. It is young adult. And yeah, like, it was fun. Yeah, give it a shot if you like any kind of true, I mean, this isn't true crime, but it's written, like, if you like a true crime podcast or books about true crime or anything like that, I do think that you would like that book. Then I finished Navigating Nico by Dana Bauer. And this is a book that is by one of my very good in real life friends, Dana. And it is a series of short essays about her son, Nico, who is on the autism spectrum. And this tells the story of their journey from diagnosis to grief to acceptance and celebration of Nico and what he brings to their family. The way that his diagnosis has changed our life for the better. If you love someone with autism, if you have a family member with autism, if you are the parent of someone with autism, if you work with someone with autism, I highly, highly recommend this book. It was 5 stars. It is, I think it's like 94 pages. I mean, it is very short. So, I mean, you can, not even, this is 48 pages. You can literally sit down and read it in like an hour and a half. It's such a beautiful portrait of their family and the autism experience. I just really, really recommend it. Then I finished a Jodi Picoult book, Handle with Care, and I really loved this. This was a 5-star book. Trigger warnings. There's some major trigger warnings in here. Trigger warnings on self-harm, eating disorders, abortion, some suggestions of sexual violence. Yeah, I think that's it. So, trigger warnings. But so good. This is Jodi at her finest. You know, my last Jodi I had read, I didn't care. I mean, it was 3 stars, but definitely not up there on my favorites. But this one was wonderful, and I am continuing to think about it a week later. And yeah, this is the story of a woman who is pregnant with her 2nd child. She ends up having a 28-week ultrasound, like for fun, because her friend is her OBGYN, and they wanted to check and they wanted to see if they could find out what the sex of the baby was going to be. And at that ultrasound, they discover that the baby has brittle bone disease, which is also known as, that's not the real name of it. So the actual name of the disease, it's called OI, but it stands for osteogenesis imperfecta. And it is the disease where just moving, you can break a bone, turning over in bed, sneezing, God forbid you fall or someone runs into you. So she's born with that. But there, you know, Jody takes things that are very morally, that you'll think, I have a very strong moral feeling on this, and she'll show you like all the sides of that moral debate. And in this one, it is looking at like wrongful birth is what they call it, and whether or not this child should have been born, and what that looks like to that child that was born and that you're now trying to say was a wrongful birth, and then the existing, the sibling of that child, and the marriage, and it just looks so much, and oh, it was just so good. It was so good. I love Jody. Jody at her best. If you like Jody, you should definitely read it. It definitely gave me My Sister's Keeper vibes from My Sister's Keeper. Then I read this little pamphlet here, The Immaculate Obsession by John Affleck, and this was the lowest rated on my Goodreads, and I agree with that. It was only 1 star. It was really, even despite the fact that it's watching a Pittsburgh Steelers game, which, you know, Pittsburgh girl, love the Steelers, that did not actually help this book. And I'm not even going to tell you what it's about, because I don't even know that you can get this. It came in a book crate that doesn't exist anymore, and it was stupid. So we're just going to pretend like that didn't happen. Then I finished listening to The Final Girls Support Group by Grady Hendrix, and this was a 3-star read. It was good. Not my favorite Grady Hendrix. Southern Woman Book Club Guide to Slaying Vampires is my favorite. But it was fine. It was good. Just not, it didn't live up to my expectations. I think it was so hyped, and I thought I was going to like it so much better than I did. So it is the girls that survive the massacres at the end of slasher movies. It's a book about them, and they are being stalked, and I figured it out pretty early on what was actually happening, and you know, I don't love it whenever that happens. So yeah, like it was okay. It was 3 stars, but yeah. I did, however, then immediately start listening to We Sold Our Souls, also by Grady Hendrix. So I only have 1 more Grady Hendrix to read, which is My Best Friend's Exorcism, I think is what it's called. But We Sold Our Souls, also a 3-star read, but it was better than The Final Girl Support Group. And that one is about a heavy metal band, and one of those members sells the souls of the other members in order to have fame and fortune in his career, and then the other ones are left without it. And so it's the story about having to go on the journey to rectify that situation. And like I said, better than the Final Girl Support Group, but still not the best Grady Hendrix that I had read. And then I finished Wild at Heart by John Eldridge, and this was okay. I ended up giving this 2 stars. It was written before Stacey Eldridge's Captivating book, which I loved Captivating. Captivating is like understanding the heart of a woman, and I just identified with it so much. This one was written first, and it is understanding the heart of a man. And it is written not just for men, it is also written for women to help understand what men need in their lives and their hearts. But I didn't love it. Although there were like 2 quotes in here that I liked and connected with, but other than that, it was just okay. It was just okay. Then I finished Queenie this morning. This is by Candace Carty-Williams. And this is blurbed by Candace Bushnell, who is the author of Sex and the City. And that makes sense to me because this really did give me a lot of Sex and the City vibes. I enjoyed the second half of this more than I enjoyed the first half of this. So in the first half of this book, you are following Queenie, who's our main character, and she is a Black woman who born and raised in England, I think in London. Her family comes from Jamaica. So she's like, I'm trying to think, first, she would have been considered 2nd generation English because it was her it was her grandparents that came over from Jamaica. And how men treat her in that society and how she feels like she doesn't truly fit in because they are stereotyping her and putting her into this category that's a highly sexualized and highly fetishized category. And she's having a lot of mental health issues that are directly related to a relationship that has just ended for her, but that also stem back to her childhood as well. And the beginning part of it, there's a lot of random sex. There's some violent sex that, although it's consensual, feels like a violation. And I think later in the book, she does kind of come to realize that it was a violation. And then the second half of the book looks at her going through the mental health healing process and getting into therapy, but also having to deal with therapy and mental health issues, anything to address mental health issues being very, very much looked down upon in her Jamaican culture. And it ends well. There's a strong friend component in here. There's a strong family component in here. I liked both of those. Like I said, the beginning it's a tough beginning. The first half of the book is tough. And, but we see Queenie getting stronger and stronger and coming to terms with who she is and who she was, her family was, who she wants to be moving forward. And I ended up giving it 3 stars, more because of that first half piece. It was hard. It was hard to read. So that is what I have finished in the last 2 weeks. I am currently reading, okay, the books that I have started that I'm in the middle of are Leave the World Behind by Rumin Alam. This book is weird, guys. I gotta tell you, I'm like halfway through it and I'm very confused. It's weird. I'll talk about it once I finish it. Maybe I can say more about it once I hopefully start to understand a little bit more exactly what's going on. So reading that in the middle of I shouldn't say in the middle, only read like the first 3 chapters so far of Anne of Avonlea, which is book 2 in the Anne of Green Gables series. Then Time Traveler's Guide to Medieval England, a handbook for visitors to the 14th century by Ian Mortimer. And I'm not liking this as much as I thought I would, but I think the whole point of this book is for you to have enough knowledge and understanding of 14th century medieval England that if you happened to time travel back to that period, you would be able to live successfully. You know, it gets into laws, it gets into the divisions of people, you know, like the system, the feudal system, what the landscape looked like. Yeah. Not as fun as I thought it would be, but at this point, I'm still reading it. Messy Beautiful Love by Darlene Schacht. and this is Hope and Redemption for Real Life Marriages. Again, this one's like, okay. I've gotten some tidbits from here that are helpful, but I'm not loving it. It's nothing groundbreaking. And then The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain, which I am enjoying very much. I am on about to start chapter 3, and I really enjoyed the introduction in the first 2 chapters. So that one, I think, is the one that I'm enjoying the most from what I'm currently reading now. And I think that's it. That's all I have going on at the moment. Hopefully, I will finish up. I'm hoping to finish up at least 3 of those by the time I talk to you guys next. Then, let's wrap this up with some books that I have acquired. So I got 2 books from Sam's Club when I was there 2 weeks ago, I think. And I got the first book in the Virgin River series. This is by Robin Carr. I don't actually know anything about this, but my mom said the series is really good. I've heard the actual TV show that's this book is based on. No, the actual TV show that is based on the book. I've actually had several people tell me how good it is. So when I saw the book, I decided to just go ahead and pick it up because you guys know I'm not the best at watching things on TV. I'll get to a book way before I get to something on television. And then I picked up Volume 1 from the Creektown Discoveries. This is Walnut Creek Wish by Wanda E. Brunstetter. And it just sounded good. It just sounds like my kind of book. It says, an antique store becomes a place of healing for broken hearts. Welcome to Walnut Creek, Ohio, where Orly and Lois Troyer own an antique store they call Memory Keepers. They're knowledgeable in antiques and their repair. Their real talent is in mentoring folks who are hurting and don't even know it. Jeff, a restaurateur, and Rhonda, a hotel manager, recently moved to Walnut Creek for the slower pace, but the change of scenery puts even more stress on their already strained marriage. Jeff spends more time traveling to and from his restaurant, and in his spare time, he buys antiques to fill the garage. Rhonda is feeling the tension of both her work and infertility, and Jeff doesn't seem to understand her troubled emotions. Will the purchase of an antique sled be the last straw to end their marriage, or will it lead to unexpected revelations and the fulfillment of dreams? So, this is a Christian romance, but it also says Amish and Mennonite on the back, which I just realized. I don't really like Amish or Mennonite books, but I don't know. We'll see. My thought was possibly this for book club, but she certainly doesn't look Amish, so hopefully that's not the case. All right, then I got my book of the month, so let's just open that up real quick. And I keep going back and forth on whether or not I want to continue with book of the month. Like, I absolutely love book of the month, but I'm so much into crafting right now, but I haven't been able to bring myself to stop it because I became a book of the month bestie. So I don't want to stop now, but I am going to be pickier. So if there's not something I want, I'm just going to skip that month. In any case, they had something I wanted this month, something that was on my my list of books I was waiting to have released, and that was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. And this one is a psychological thriller, I believe. Think you know the person you married? Think again. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets, and an anniversary that no one will forget. And I saw April talk about this over on Getting Huggled With It for releases that she was really excited for. And when she talked about this one, I immediately added it to my list of books I wanted to order. And then our bookmark for this month, I tend to get lost. Yeah, if you guys are ever interested in Book of the Month, I do have a referral code that is always down in my description box that will allow you to get your first month for $9.99, I believe. And then I get a credit also for a free book if you sign up. So that's always there if interested. All right, that was my last 2 weeks. Good thing I'm not doing crafts anymore because this video would have been over an hour. So if you're interested in hearing me talk about some cross stitch, last week on my Wednesday, I focused on crochet, like a get to know me and here's what's going on in my crochet life. This week upcoming, I'm focusing on cross stitch. And then after that, I'm going to combine both of them for my weekly video. So if you want to talk about cross stitch, then you can come and see me on Wednesday. All right, that is all. I'll catch up with you guys later. Bye.